fabulous David Oistrakh, and we have a fabulous guest tonight, but he's also a very humble man and a very cool guy. I've actually met him on a plane a long time ago from Rio to Paris, and we started talking for a few minutes, hours. You know, it's a long flight, it's 14 hours, so there's a lot to say. And after a few hours, he was telling me he was a musician and he was a pianist, and you know, he didn't say much, but then I was like, what's your name? He said, Barry. I said, are you Barry Douglas? Here he is. Thank you. Thank you to be here.
Это была преамбула Эрика, который когда-то, несколько лет назад, встретил человека в самолете на пути из Парижа в Рио-де-Жанейро. Долгий перелет, о чем-то нужно было говорить. Говорили. В итоге Эрик выяснил, что рядом с ним музыкант. Как вас зовут? Он сказал, Барри. Вы случайно не Барри Дуглас? Я, он самый. Барри Дуглас сегодня у нас в эфире, здесь в нашей студии, один из членов жюри 15-го международного конкурса имени Чайковского. Barry, how do you feel tonight? I mean, within last week you've been here, you've been off Moscow, you've been to St. Petersburg.
Yes, because I was playing a recital in St. Petersburg, and then I was playing a concert with Maestro Gergiev, and then coming back on the Red Arrow train and flying out and coming back, and then I was in France, and so...
It's sort of crazy.
But it's kind of good, because every time I come back I feel fresh, and I hear everything with fresh ears.
Unlike all other members of the jury,
they've been sitting here cooking, whereas I've been relaxed.
На самом деле, активность сейчас у Барри Дугласа потрясающая. Он здесь в жюри, он уже улетает в Санкт-Петербург, постоянное перемещение, но зато, вот как признается сам Барри, это дает ему силы чувствовать себя свежим, в то время как остальные члены жюри, в общем, должны выносить свое мнение по поводу конкурсантов. И, конечно же, они ощущают определенную усталость после стольких дней 8-часовых прослушиваний.
So Barry, before winning the competition here, that was in 1986, I think?
Yes.
Am I correct?
Way back.
Yes.
Way back,
a long time ago.
Even before we met, a long time ago. And
when did we meet? I think it was mid-90s.
Yeah. So before winning this competition, you and before, you know, creating your ensemble, the Camerata of Ireland, and you know, making all these great recordings, you know, you were hesitating between instruments, no? You learned the cello, you learned
wow,
what else?
Researching
a few things, a few instruments. You could play 4 or 5 instruments.
No, I mean, growing up, I had a fantastic school. I was able to choose lots of different instruments. So I played the timpani.
All right.
I played the clarinet. I wanted to be a clarinetist.
But is it because you wanted to be a conductor,
No.
Is it what you are as well today, or you always knew you would become a pianist?
I didn't know until I was very late. I was 16, and I discovered that I wanted to be a pianist.
Because of what?
Because I met this lady who'd come to Belfast, and she'd been a pupil of Zauer, who was a pupil of Liszt, and she inspired me to concentrate on the piano. Maria was later, Maria Curcio. This was Felicitas Lewinter, who was coming to visit her folks in Belfast, and she had studied with a pupil of Liszt, and she was a great inspiration.
You bet.
На самом деле, Барри Дуглас в детстве играл на многих инструментах, в том числе учился на идарных, на кларнете, в том числе и фортепиано. В общем, до 16 лет он совершенно не знал, что будет профессиональным пианистом, пока не встретил в своей жизни педагога, которая, в свою очередь, была ученицей человека, который был учеником Листа. Ну, вот такая долгая пианистическая традиция. You know, Barry, you are under the same umbrella with Peter Donahue, who played in his youth very many instruments, like timpanis, like, you know, clarinet, and so
I don't think Peter would like if he heard I was under the same umbrella.
Okay. Barry, what do you remember exactly from this your victory in 1968?
86.
Yes. Oh, 86. Yeah. Sorry, 86.
Well, I remember this place and this incredible audience.
Is it still look alike or no?
It's exactly the same. It's had
I mean,
some
atmosphere
painting,
or audience is different.
The audience is passionate. They believe in their musicians. They believe in Tchaikovsky. They believe in the competition, and they support their musicians. And you feel the atmosphere even outside the building when you're approaching, and you feel everybody's getting excited about the competition. I think it's great.
Великолепный зал, такое же ощущение, как и на конкурсе 1986 года. Великолепная атмосфера, очень поддерживающая публика, которая верит в музыку Чайковского, которая верит в этот конкурс. Поэтому я вообще, на самом деле, который раз здесь и счастлив. Barry, as a European, do you personally believe in Tchaikovsky competition? I mean, we Russians believe, of course, but...
Well, I think it is an amazing history, and I think this is very important. When you have a tradition and a history which has a lot of weight, as this competition does, and a very serious attitude to music and to the piano and, of course, violin, cello and singing, I think it carries a lot of importance around the world.
Насколько важен для европейца этот конкурс? Но я думаю, что конкурс действительно один из самых сильнейших и, в общем, высоко очень котируется в Европе. Ну, собственно, мы это и видим по тем участникам, которые здесь в эти дни собрались в Москве.
And also, sorry, Eric, just to add what Maestro Gergiev has done 4 years ago and this year to really recreate the spirit of the competition and to give it a new energy and life has been very important, and the quality of his decisions and his team and the quality of the jury members.
Of course.
It's really fantastic.
Конечно же, хочу обратить внимание на нововведение с прошлого 14-го конкурса, который был сделан Валерием Гергиевым. Это обновление конкурса, это новый дух, это несколько измененная программа, ну и, конечно же, это жюри.
Well, since you mentioned, what type of decisions did he take this year? Did he make?
Well, he wanted to, I know, after what he did 4 years ago, which is brilliant, in the shake-up of the competition, to really get to the essence of what this is about. And what this is about is finding the great talent of the future and supporting them. What he did this year is tighten everything up. He's changed a few things,
like
certain rules, and how we operate as a jury, how we communicate to each other.
Oh, but can you be specific, because that's captivating? We want to know exactly what's going on.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
No, I know, but that's exactly what we want to know.
A lot of it is top secret, of course, Eric.
Oh, really?
Because we have to be, discreet.
You're going to speech to each other.
No, but just the way you operate is interesting. How do you do? Because I mean, I can remember 4 or 5 names, and then it gets all blurred in my head. So how do you guys decide? And especially some guys are great, and then they do a Mozart that I don't like, and I'm like, oh yeah, actually I don't like him. Or then they start with a horrible Bach, but then they do a great Scriabin, and then how do you guys judge them? Evaluate them, and how do you decide who's going to win and who's not going to win?
Well, I mean, the quality, as I said, it's not a joke, because the quality of the jury members is very high. And we take a lot of notes, we talk to each other a little bit. I mean, the rules of the jury state very, very, very clearly that we have to vote and not talk too much. But I think a little bit of communication is important for the people that we're not sure about, who we want to encourage, but we're not quite sure, and we're debating a little bit. So there is a bit of discussion, which I think is very important. And because we all trust each other, I think that's an easy process.
На самом деле, квалификация жюри очень важна, потому что, собственно, жюри определяет победителя. Мы не так много дискутируем, но все-таки какие-то дискуссии случаются, когда какие-то разные мнения, спорные случаи. И, тем не менее, вот эта вот система, которая сейчас, она позволяет выявить действительно победителя конкурса. Ну, собственно, это является целью конкурса — продемонстрировать миру таланты, которые обнаруживаются здесь, на этом конкурсе Чайковского.
There are 2 schools of, for judging musicians. Sometimes people, I get on their way, whatever, they say, oh, we can't see it. I'm like, no, it's about hearing. Close your eyes and check him out. And some other people, some of our guests here, have said they're looking for a package. Someone has to be a performer. He has to be, it's 2 different schools. I would assume that, to judge a musician, you would close your eyes and just check him out. How does he play? And what is your idea about it?
I think you're absolutely right, but what counts is what the sound is produced at the instrument. But at the same time, concerts are a spectacle. It's an entertainment, a beautiful entertainment. And so the whole thing is the spectacle, and how they walk on the stage, how they start, how they look at the audience, how they finish. But the most important thing is, as you say, Eric, is the music itself and how that touches people, and how that's a communication, it's a language, and that has to be at the core of what they do.
Especially since sometimes the image is a lie, Sometimes you see someone who looks very passionate, but if you would just listen, it would be like, it's very, it's not very, I think it's better to hear. And not
it's
to
like
see.
someone who is, talking like this, nothing.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But does it actually impress audience and jury members when someone, conducts himself like a very arrogant person, or probably very confident, or not very humble person?
Well, you have to kind of see through that, and if they've played beautifully at the piano, you have to try and understand. But I mean, obviously, I think people are people, and you want to see that genuine communication between human beings. And if somebody is very arrogant, then the audience is not really going to like them very much. You know, they're going to spot that.
Yes,
so I think the audience is usually, they're very right. I mean, they can sense what's good and what's not so good, and what is false and what is sincere.
But do you personally react to the audience when you just make a yes or no for the candidate, no?
Do the audience react?
Do you react?
Because we've had some standing ovations,
yes,
almost to a couple of candidates. You know, we saw the whole audience clapping and being hysterical. Does it influence you?
Does audience influence you, like a member of jury?
We absolutely, we want to hear if the audience really loved somebody, because that's very important, because they're going to be playing for audiences.
Yeah.
But obviously we've been hearing what they've been doing before, and then we hear what they're going to do later if they pass, and so we have to take the whole thing into account.
You know, it's a sort of Russian proverb. The audience is a sort of fool girl. So probably you do not have to react to the audience. I don't know.
We have to think about our job, which is the most important thing. That this is a task we've been given to do. And we have to stick to that. But obviously, we're very interested in how the public react.
Жюри очень заинтересовано в том, как реагирует публика, и, конечно, в какой-то степени они прислушиваются к этой публике. Вообще вопрос был изначально, что существует два подхода к пианисту. Можно закрыть глаза и слушать пианиста и выносить свое мнение. А можно воспринимать, как человек умеет себя держать на сцене, как он реагирует на публику, как он умеет вступать в определенное общение с публикой. Ну, собственно, Борис сказал, что важно и то, и другое, хотя, конечно же, центральной частью является, собственно, музыкальное мастерство исполнителя.
Since we mentioned, legends, people whose image is even stronger than the playing. Let's check out Glenn Gould. It's a very short clip from a movie by Bruno Monsangio called Hereafter.
Поскольку мы заговорили о тех, чей имидж порой сильнее каких-то исполнительских моментов, то у нас в эфире есть небольшое видео. Это фрагмент фильма Бруно Монсанжона о Гленне Гульде.
My mother, Florence Greig Gould, was my first piano teacher. She came from a Christian home and devoted her life and her talents primarily to music for the sacred service as organist in Toronto's Central Presbyterian Church. At the tender age of 5, I managed to persuade my parents that mine was an uncommonly sensitive soul, which ought not to be prematurely exposed to the boorish vandalism which I perceived amongst my contemporaries. Consequently, my season 1938-39 was made more agreeable by the imaginative improvisations of a private tutor. But with 1939 came to all those of British art, the call to arms, the time of sacrifice. And thus, on that sad September morning, the idyll of my innocence was ended. And I, who was to leisure born for country, flag, my way to school, now wended.
God save the king.
So will there be another Glenn Gould or more Glenn Gould in the future, and what does it mean to be a Glenn Gould?
That's a very good question. You should have, asked me to prepare this answer
for 2 months. 2 months ahead.
Obviously, a fabulous pianist. I never could understand how he could play like this because he sat very low.
Yeah,
but obviously a great artist.
Что значит быть Глен Гульдом? Может быть, новые Глен Гульды появятся вскоре на этом конкурсе. Но на самом деле замечательный вопрос. Мне надо бы к нему хорошо подготовиться. Но прежде всего быть выдающимся, восхитительным музыкантом. Никогда не мог понять, как он мог играть вот в такой позиции, потому что он сидел очень низко над клавиатурой, считая только этот способ возможным для хорошей артикуляции. Ну вот это величие музыканта. Barry, one more question. Tonight we hear a lot of Mozart concertos. Not a lot, but what do you looking for while you're hearing Mozart concertos? What is important for you to hear in Mozart?
You know, it's really important because the way the world of music operates now is there are less and less recitals for pianists, and it's mostly work with orchestra, and that could be a Mozart concerto, it could be Rachmaninoff. And so you want to see that they communicate the music first of all, but you want to see that they work well with the conductor, with the orchestra, and they listen to each other, because working with an orchestra is like a big chamber music. And so we want to see that they communicate with the other performers on the stage, as well as communicating with the audience.
Но знаете, количество сольных концертов во всем мире сокращается. Чаще это камерные вечера, чаще это концертные выступления. И здесь, вот на этом туре, очень важно понять, как музыкант, как участник конкурса может взаимодействовать с оркестром, может взаимодействовать с другими музыкантами, потому что, по сути, это вот такое большое камерное музицирование. И момент реакции исполнителя, солиста на дирижера, на оркестр, это очень-очень важно.
So Barry, thank you very much indeed for your presence here. Stay with us, as you know, we're going to give you a chance to see some of our candidates, again, a little video of Ilya Rashkovsky, who's going to play very soon, tonight. He's going to play the piano concerto number 27.